Good Sunday morning to you all. We got another Watchmen update, some big news items breaking, as well as a whole bunch of reports coming from you guys. Thanks for tuning in this morning. We're going to be covering things like the West Nile virus back in the United States with a confirmed case. We have a major Trump announcement coming tomorrow about Washington, D.C. crime. We got federal officers in Washington, D.C. already patrolling the streets like beat cops. Plus, we have construction has begun on the largest ICE facility ever. And new information coming about the peace talks that will happen hopefully this week, and farmers being hit hard by high fertilizer prices. We'll talk about that, plus Canada's smoke. They're polluting the United States again. Eggs, solar farms, and a whole lot more. Lots of your reports coming in. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get focused in on something reliable, safe, something that has held its value for thousands and thousands of years. You go back to the 1950s and you could buy a medium range house for the same amount of gold that you can buy a medium range house today. Try doing that with $1 and it's a joke. Having your money saved in dollars, having your money saved even in stocks is a risky proposition. If you want to find out more about what you can do and how it would work, Jonathan and his team would love to walk you through it. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, a major Washington, D.C. announcement coming later on tomorrow. So Monday morning, we're going to be seeing a safety and security briefing by President Trump. Now, he's already deployed federal officers to patrol the streets. So we have only full federalization is really the only thing that could be coming. And he has threatened that, and it would be absolutely warranted and within the scope of his power as well as the federal government's power. Washington, D.C. has been allowed to self-govern itself, but it really does answer to Congress. It answers to Congress and the federal government. It is a federal property, a federal zone. And so the federal government does hold sway and can re-exert that control. It's been delegating that to the local government, which has been so completely inept that it's been unbelievable. So that's going to come tomorrow. We're going to see exactly what it looks like. Like I said, we have federal officers from all sorts of different agencies that are literally patrolling the streets in Washington, D.C. We got FBI out there, and then just armed agents from different agencies, ATF, others that are out there patrolling the streets for muggings, thefts, all sorts of stuff. All right, so health officials have confirmed a human case of West Nile virus transmitted by mosquitoes in New Orleans. Now, West Nile virus is not supposed to be in the United States. It's not supposed to be something that we're threatened by. Now, it is treatable, and it is, so it's not like an untreatable new thing. West Nile virus is a fairly common thing in other countries that are more impoverished. It's very much like malaria. So, you get bit by a mosquito and then you get sick from it. Now, they can cure it, but it takes a lot of medications. It takes a while to do, and it's really a big nuisance. And you feel sick, really, really sick when you have it. It's not a fun experience from people I've talked to that have had it. West Nile virus is no joke, but at the same time, it's not. It generally is not life-threatening if you get good, proper medical care. An appeals court has blocked contempt proceedings. We got that joke of a judge who has been making it his life's work to go after President Trump. And he's just got slapped down by an appeals court that said basically President Trump did not violate the court order. The lower district judge is trying to say that President Trump kept on sending people home under the Alien Enemies Act after he put basically a nationwide injunction in place. But let's just say when he did that, he did such a horrible job writing the injunction that basically even the appeals court's like, well, they didn't technically violate your injunction. It was just so poorly written that there's just so many different ways you could interpret your injunction. So they just interpreted it this way, but you didn't actually specify which way they should interpret it. So you can't hold them in contempt for following your order, but just not understanding your order. That's your problem. That's your fault. So, not to mention, nationwide injunctions shouldn't be happening anyway. President Trump has announced plans, and I believe construction has already begun, to build the largest U.S. federal others detention facility at a military base in Fort Bliss, Texas. So this is going to be the largest one. And of course, it being down in Texas makes sense because it's close to the place where a lot of them come from, right? We've already seen that the country to the south, Mexico, is getting really upset. They've already taken in hundreds of thousands of people have come home. And Mexico is not overwhelmed by all the doctors and all the lawyers and white-collar people. They're getting overwhelmed by all these people wanting welfare and poor and needing assistance. That should just kind of tell you all you need to know about what's really going on here. We all know it, but there's just more facts. That Mexico is not going, yes, we get all of our high-quality people back. They're going, no, stop sending them to us. Yeah, now they know how it feels. And the ironic thing is, all we're doing is sending them back that came to the U.S. U.S. gold futures have hit an all-time record high amid tariff uncertainties. There have been concerns that Swiss gold would be tariffed coming into the U.S., which would cause some logistical problems. Now, the Trump administration has already come out and said that that's not what they intended, and they're going to clarify that more on how gold bullion gets treated, because that's not really a good or service. It's really, it's a monetary asset. But U.S. gold futures had already hit an all-time high at $3,534.10. And it's likely to kind of keep on going up. That's where the momentum is in the markets. President Putin has told the U.S. that he will halt the war in Eastern Europe in exchange for eastern of that country in Europe. Zelensky, however, has said that his country won't give land to the occupier. Now, this is after U.S. President Trump said that there could be some swapping of territories in order to end the war. Let's just say Zelensky is not on board and is not happy about this at all. But they're literally fighting with weapons that the United States and Europe have given them. They're not really exactly in a place to dictate to Western allies when a war should be over, and they certainly can't dictate to Bear Country when they should be ready for an end to the war. The corn price to fertilizer price ratio, this is, you're probably like, I've never heard of that before. So this is how much corn costs, this is how much fertilizer costs, compare the two, because if you're a farmer and you're like, we're going to try growing corn, but we're going to need to fertilize, is that really worth doing, right? Well, the fertilizer has gotten really expensive and corn prices have not gone up. And this is really showing in particularly in phosphates. And now it is the highest on record. Corn prices continue to slide. Basically, a lot of farmers are not going to be growing corn next year. And if they do, they're not going to be fertilizing, right? So this is a big issue out there. Things are great right now for consumers, but this could be a giant bullwhip where the snap is coming and we're going to reap the whirlwind, so to speak. Donna says, I live in a suburb of Kansas City. When you talked about the fact that there are no birds, I just realized that I used to hear birds chirping and being loud outside my home, but there is silence now. This is very concerning. Remember that book that came out a long time ago about DDT called Silent Spring? We're living the hellscape that book postulated. Of course, the book was completely wrong. She just made up stuff and basically got DDT, a perfectly safe chemical that was used widely to eradicate malaria from the United States. All these third world countries have been told not to use DDT to eradicate malaria. So all the malaria deaths since then have basically been her fault because it's cheap and it's been used to eradicate malaria from Europe as well as the United States. Highly effective, and but we don't let poor countries to do that. Or else they will jeopardize all the free money that we give them. We basically are paying them to let the poor people die. And if that doesn't make you cynical, I don't know what will. Anyway, so Silent Spring is happening now because some other chemical that has been allowed to exist is doing some horrific stuff. And I don't know which one it is, but we're seeing some major wildlife implications out there. It's got to be something that's pretty widespread or is having a unduly potent effect on the ecology of the United States. E says, Central Pennsylvania, unable to get rotisserie chicken here either. This at Wise Market. Jeff says, Utah, Kroger does not allow discounted items to be returned. I bought a hamburger and used it that night. It was nasty. The next day, they fought me until a nasty manager refunded me. 2 weeks ago, it was very expensive frozen shrimp, not discounted shrimp. That obviously was refrozen and very smelly. No bees this year here and no flies. Also no roadrunners eating lizards. Well, we don't have any roadrunners in Pennsylvania either, but we're not supposed to. Michael says, went to 2 different quick trips today, and no eggs in either one. Northeast Wisconsin. Deeb says, southwest suburbs of Chicago. The produce has been rotting within 2 days. I bought cucumbers at different stores. I got home and they were bad already and not edible. So they have been rotting on store shelves and they're still being sold to consumers. The tomatoes have a weird taste to them now and they are rotting within days as well. Monica says, I'm in southwest Missouri as a gardener and a canner. I've noticed bees, but they're coming too early and disappeared before they can pollinate. I've noticed even less wasps. And thankfully, dragonflies, though, have been plentiful due to the hot, humid summer and our pond. In 8 years, bees have been fewer and fewer each year. We have many farmers in our area. If the farmers spray pesticide and the wind blows across our homestead, it harms our garden, trees, flowers, and our black walnut trees for the first time have no walnuts. Major implications out there for all sorts of different things. Linda says, nearly 2 weeks ago, my Amazon account was breached and they tried to take over $300 out of my bank account, but fortunately the bank stopped them. I never lost any money, but I had to replace both debit cards. Scammers are ramping up their game out there, so you need to be ramping up your your defense against that kind of stuff. DH says, Northern Michigan, plenty of mosquitoes, ticks, deer flies, and horse flies there. No bees, wasps, hornets, dragonflies, bats, and few birds. Garden is the worst I've ever had. This is the third year in a row that we've been choked out by Canadian smoke. This smoke doesn't even smell like wood, more like a mix of burning tires and electric wires. By the way, our 2,000-acre solar farm nearby that replaced all the farm goods in my area keeps growing like cancer. They just keep expanding it. Maca Find Cindy says, I have had to pollinate my tomatoes in order to get the fruit to set. I tried doing the cucumbers as well, but it didn't work. I've only harvested 2 cukes total and have 4 good, healthy plants covered with flowers, but it's sad. No pickles this year. I've had to buy cucumbers for salads. I'm in Boise, Idaho, and you buy them and they rot. It's just like we can't win. Looney Lacey says, went to 10 boxes here in Arkansas. That's a store. Picked up some ground beef and other meat. Prices are through the roof. Overheard workers talking about process changing every day, and they can't keep up with the changes. Picked up some ribeyes from Mexico, cooked some last night. Tell you what is bad, seeing a lot of beef from Mexico. Indeed. Gregory says, I live in northeast Georgia. Notice that butterflies are dying. They land on a plant to pollinate, but then they shortly fall out of the air to the ground. I gently pick them up and put them on my deck. Within minutes, they are dead. How can animals pollinate when they just keep dying? Murphy says, at the market today, I go to once or twice a month. There was no single garlic today. Only one netted elephant garlic for $4. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Usually there is a basket of individual garlic for $1 each. Sign was changed, so not out. Just wow, different choices. Good thing I have some from the garden. Had a large pack of garlic on the list for BJ's. Hopefully it is there. Berkshire's, Western Massachusetts. All right, friends. Please do keep your reports coming in. I got a couple more here. Madam K says, at work, orders for food are being, she works at a restaurant, are being replaced by off-brands, such as pizza sauce, gravy, pickles, cheese, pepperoni, sausage, and so on. My boss is not happy and has been sending back cases of products that aren't to her standards. Every week we're sending stuff back. Also, some of the order is missing due to no product. Best stock up on where you can. I am also canning salsas, beef, and ketchup next week. Wish me luck getting prepared. And then here we go. Cries says, we are from Florida but travel often for work. We stay in our motorhome and often stop in Cordele, Georgia, to work and see family. This week I went to Walmart to stock the mobile home before leaving out, and there was a whole case of expired orange juice there at Walmart. Every single one was dated with use-by dates in June and July. It's August, friends. This is not the first time we have found many expired items, but the first time that a whole entire display shelf. Please be careful when shopping. It's one thing to choose to use something that has passed its best prime date, but a whole other thing to buy it straight from the shelf at full price. Things cost way too much money to waste, and there is such a hassle of having to return it, especially for people like us who are just passing through and won't be in the same place to return it. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. I'll talk to you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.